This is the story of a broke teenage boy who gets thrown into an all-girls fighting school and somehow survives despite having the combat skills of a wet paper bag. And yes, it gets exactly as chaotic as you think. Trust me, this story doesn't even begin to cover how unhinged things get. So we're starting off with our main character, Song Jae-gu, and this kid is having the worst life imaginable. I'm talking orphaned, raising his twin siblings alone, working multiple jobs, getting bullied at school. Like the universe looked at this boy and said, let's see how much trauma we can stack on one person. He's basically living in a one-room apartment with his little brother and sister, trying to keep them fed, clothed, and in school, while also attending high school himself. And when I say he's broke, I mean this kid is counting coins to buy instant ramen. We're talking poverty-level desperation here. Now, you'd think things couldn't get worse, right? Wrong. His school announces this lottery scholarship thing for a brand new school that's opening up. And not just any school, Wilds High, which is apparently the most prestigious private academy in the country. We're talking rich kids, insane facilities, and a reputation that could get you into any university. Here's where things get absolutely wild. Wilds High has been an all-girls school specializing in teaching fighting sports for like decades. Martial arts, MMA, boxing, basically turning teenage girls into absolute warriors. Think of it like if you combined a finishing school with the UFC. These girls are terrifying. But suddenly they decide to accept male students for the first time in the school's history. And they're only taking 3 boys. 3 out of thousands of applicants. The odds are absolutely ridiculous. So naturally, Jae-gu's name gets drawn in the lottery. Because our protagonist has the weirdest luck, I swear. This kid goes from being broke and beaten up to suddenly having a full scholarship to the most elite school in the country. His tuition is covered. His siblings will get support. He'll even get a stipend. It's literally a life-changing opportunity that solves like 90% of his problems. There's just one tiny problem. He's about to be surrounded by hundreds of girls who can literally snap him in half. And most of them are not happy about boys invading their school. So Jae-gu shows up on his first day, and let me paint you a picture. This school is massive. We're talking sprawling campus, state-of-the-art facilities, Olympic-level training grounds. And he's walking in there wearing his old worn-out uniform, looking like he just crawled out of a dumpster compared to everyone else. The moment he steps through those gates, every girl stops and stares. And not in a cute, oh, a boy way. More like, there's a bug in our territory and we need to squash it way. The hostility is thick, people. If you're already hooked by this setup, smash that like button, because I promise you it gets so much more chaotic. See, a lot of these girls have been training at Wilds since they were kids. This school is their home, their sanctuary, their identity. And now suddenly they're forced to share it with boys? They're big mad about it. Jae-gu meets the other 2 male students who got accepted. There's this rich, pretty boy who's way too confident, and another guy who's just trying to keep his head down. But honestly, they're barely relevant at this point because the story is really about Jae-gu trying not to die. The first day is basically a survival horror game. Girls glaring at him in the hallways, whispers everywhere. Someone accidentally trips him. He sits down in class and girls literally get up and move away from him like he's radioactive. My guy cannot catch a break. And then he sees her. Queen. That's what everyone calls her. Her real name is Dal Dal, but nobody uses it because apparently at Wilds High, if you're good enough at fighting, you get a title. And Queen is the absolute apex predator of this school. Jae-gu sees her walking down the hallway, and it's like the Red Sea parting. Girls literally press themselves against the walls to let her pass. She's tall, gorgeous, has this long dark hair and these intense eyes, and carries herself like she owns the entire building. Which, let's be real, she basically does. She's the top-ranked fighter in the entire school. Undefeated champion. The girl who basically represents Wilds High in every major tournament. She's won national championships. She's famous in the fighting world, and she has exactly 0 interest in the male students existing. Jae-gu makes eye contact with her for like half a second and immediately looks away because he can feel the murderous aura radiating off this girl. She doesn't say anything to him. She doesn't have to. The message is clear. Stay out of my way. Now here's where the school system gets interesting. Wilds High has this ranking system based on fighting ability. The top fighters get special privileges, respect, basically run the school. And at the very top of this food chain is the Gang of Four. Four girls who are considered the absolute strongest fighters in the school. Queen is number one. Then there's Moon Young, Queen's best friend who's almost as terrifying. Then there's Moon Young's rival, a girl who specializes in a different fighting style. And the fourth one who rounds out this absolutely stacked lineup of teen girls who could hospitalize grown men. The rules are simple. If you want to move up in rank, you challenge someone and fight them. Winners get status, losers get humbled. It's basically high school, but with more concussions. Now, Jae-gu is trying his absolute best to stay invisible. He sits in the back of class, keeps his head down, doesn't make eye contact. His entire strategy is, don't get noticed, don't get hurt, which would be a great plan except for one small problem. The school requires all students to take combat training classes. Pause. Let me repeat that. This kid who has spent his entire life avoiding fights, who literally gets beat up by regular bullies, now has to take mandatory fighting classes with girls who train for international competitions. The comedy writes itself. First combat class comes around and Jae-gu is sweating bullets. The instructor is this no-nonsense woman who looks like she could bench press a car, and she's explaining that they'll be doing sparring exercises, partner sparring, with the girls. And I wish I was making this up, but Jae-gu gets paired with one of the top-ranked fighters. Not Queen, thank God, but still someone who could absolutely destroy him. This girl looks at him like he's an insult to her existence. The instructor blows the whistle and, look, it's not even a fight, it's a massacre. Jae-gu tries to defend himself, but this girl's moving at like 10 times his speed. She sweeps his legs, he goes down, he gets up, she throws him. He tries to block, she goes around his guard and puts him in a submission hold that has him tapping out in 3 seconds. The entire class is watching. Some girls are laughing. Others look disgusted that he's even trying. And Jae-gu is lying on the mat thinking about every life decision that led him to this moment. But here's the thing, and this is where the story gets interesting. Queen is watching from the sidelines. She's not participating in this beginner class because she's way too advanced, but she's there observing. And for just a second, Jae-gu catches her looking at him with this expression that's not quite contempt, but more like curiosity? Maybe? Or maybe she's just wondering how someone so pathetic got into her school. Hard to tell. Subscribe so you don't miss what happens next, because trust me, it gets intense. After that humiliating combat class, Jae-gu is limping to the locker room thinking his life is over. His body hurts, his pride is shattered, and he's pretty sure he saw someone recording his beatdown to post online later. But then, as he's changing, he overhears a conversation between some girls in the hallway, and what he hears makes his blood run cold. They're talking about how the boys shouldn't be here, how they need to send a message to make sure these male students don't get comfortable. And they're specifically targeting Jae-gu because he looks like the weakest link. Great. Fantastic. Not only does he have to survive combat classes, now there's an actual conspiracy to make his life hell. The next few days are brutal. Someone accidentally spills juice on his desk. His gym shoes go missing. He gets shoved in the hallways. Not hard enough to cause a scene, but enough to remind him he's not welcome. It's psychological warfare and Jae-gu is losing. The worst part? He can't even complain because technically nothing is provable. It's all just accidents and mistakes. The girls are smart about it. But here's where things take a turn. One day after school, Jae-gu is walking home and he notices he's being followed. 3 girls from his school, and they do not look friendly. They corner him in an alley. Yes, an actual alley, like this is some crime drama. And the leader steps forward. "We're going to make this real simple," she says. "Drop out of Wilds High. Tell them you can't handle it, because if you don't leave voluntarily, we're going to make you leave." And Jae-gu, this poor kid who's been taking beatings his whole life, who's been surviving on scraps and enduring bullies because he has no choice, something in him just snaps. He looks at these girls and says, "No, Just like that. No. The girls are shocked. They expected him to cower, to agree, to run away. But Jae-gu stands his ground. I need this scholarship, he tells them. My family needs this. So no, I'm not leaving. Now you'd think this would be his heroic moment, right? Wrong. These girls proceed to beat the absolute crap out of him. I'm talking he gets wrecked. He tries to defend himself, but remember, these are trained fighters and he's just a regular kid. It's not even close. They leave him bruised and bloody in that alley, warning him that next time will be worse. Jae-gu drags himself home, cleans himself up before his siblings can see, and lies in bed thinking about how utterly screwed he is. He can't fight back, can't report them without proof, can't drop out because his family needs the money. He's trapped. The next day at school, he's walking around with bruises he tried to hide with his uniform, and of course Queen sees him. Their eyes meet in the hallway, and for a moment, just a moment, he sees something in her expression. Is it concern? Sympathy? Recognition of a fellow fighter's wounds? Nope. She just walks past him like he doesn't exist, cold as ice. Drop a comment telling me if you think our boy's going to survive this school, because honestly, I'm not even sure. But then, and this is where things get really interesting, there's this announcement. The school's hosting its annual fighting tournament. It's a huge deal, apparently. Students compete, scouts come to watch, there are prize money and rankings on the line. And here's the kicker. All students are required to participate. Even the boys. Even Jae-gu, who can barely throw a punch. The entire school is buzzing about it. The top fighters are preparing their strategies. Girls are talking about who they want to face, what techniques they're going to use. And Jae-gu is having a full-blown panic attack because he's about to get absolutely destroyed in front of the entire school. The rich, pretty boy, his name is Dao Jung, by the way, is actually excited about it. He's all like, this is my chance to prove myself. Meanwhile, Jae-gu is Googling how to fake a medical emergency. Training for the tournament begins, and it's even worse than the regular combat classes. The intensity is ramped up, the sparring is more brutal, and everyone is taking it seriously. Jae-gu is getting thrown around like a rag doll on a daily basis. His body is covered in bruises. He's exhausted, sore, and mentally drained. But something weird starts happening. Despite getting his butt kicked repeatedly, Jae-gu notices he's getting slightly better. Like he's still terrible, but he's managing to block 1 or 2 hits before getting demolished. His reflexes are improving just from pure survival instinct. It's not much, but it's something. One day during training, he's paired up with a girl who's relatively new to the school. She's not part of the elite fighters, just a regular student trying to improve. And for the first time since arriving at Wilds High, Jae-gu has a sparring match that doesn't end with him getting completely annihilated. He actually manages to land a hit. It's a weak, clumsy punch, but it connects. The girl is surprised. Jae-gu is surprised. The entire class watching is surprised. And from across the gym, Queen is watching. Again, with that same unreadable expression. That night, Jae-gu is walking home feeling slightly less terrible about himself when he runs into Moon Young, Queen's best friend and the second strongest fighter in school. She's standing outside a convenience store, and when she sees him, she actually speaks to him. "You're the scholarship kid," she says. Not a question, a statement. Jae-gu nods, wondering if he's about to get jumped again. But Moon Young just looks at him with this calculating expression and says, "You know Queen grew up poor too, right? Before she came to Wilds High. She fought her way to the top from nothing." Then she walks away, leaving Jae-gu standing there confused. Why would Moon Young tell him that? What does that even mean? Is it supposed to be encouraging? Is it a warning? Is Queen secretly rooting for him? Is this some kind of test? He has no idea, but it plants this seed in his mind. The tournament is now just a week away and the school is in full preparation mode. The atmosphere is electric. Girls are training like their lives depend on it. The gang of 4 is barely even visible because they're doing some kind of elite isolated training. And Jae-gu, he's still trying to figure out how to throw a proper punch. But then something happens that changes everything. He's staying late after school to practice. because even though he knows he's going to lose, he doesn't want to be completely embarrassed when he hears sounds coming from one of the private training rooms. Curiosity gets the better of him, and he peeks through the window. It's Queen, training alone, and holy crap, she's incredible. Jae-gu has seen some of the girls fight before, but watching Queen in her element is like watching a completely different level of skill. She's fast, powerful, precise. Every movement is calculated. Every strike is perfect. She's going through combinations on a training dummy, and the speed is inhuman. He's mesmerized, completely frozen, just watching her train. And then she stops, turns around, and looks directly at the window where he's standing. Their eyes lock. Jae-gu's heart drops into his stomach. He just got caught spying on the most dangerous girl in school. He's dead. He's so dead. But Queen doesn't look angry. She doesn't look annoyed. She just looks at him for a long moment. Then she does something that absolutely shocks him. She gestures for him to come in. Wait, what? Is this a trap? Is she going to murder him in private? Jae-gu's survival instincts are screaming at him to run, but his feet start moving toward the door anyway. He enters the training room and Queen is just standing there, arms crossed, studying him like he's some kind of science experiment. You're going to embarrass yourself in the tournament, she says bluntly. Thanks, Captain Obvious. Jae-gu nods because what else can he do? Your stance is garbage. Your form is non-existent. You telegraph every move before you make it. Queen circles around him like a predator. But you keep showing up, even after getting beat up, even when everyone wants you gone. Why? Jae-gu swallows hard. I don't have a choice. I need the scholarship. Queen stops circling, looks at him with those intense eyes. Everyone has a choice. You're choosing to stay, even though it's killing you, even though you're clearly terrified. She picks up 2 practice gloves and tosses a pair to him. Show me what you've learned. Well, Queen says, I don't have all night. Jae-gu puts on the gloves with shaking hands and gets into what he thinks is a fighting stance. It's probably terrible. Actually, it's definitely terrible because Queen immediately sighs like she's already regretting this decision. Your feet are too close together, she says, walking over to him. You'll lose your balance the second someone pushes you. She uses her foot to kick his legs wider apart. There, now you have an actual base. Then she backs up and gets into her own stance. Try to hit me. Pause. Did she really just say that? Try to hit the Queen? The undefeated champion? Jae-gu is pretty sure this is a trap, but he's also pretty sure refusing would be worse, so he throws a punch. Queen doesn't even move her feet. She just tilts her head and his fist goes past her face by like 3 inches. It's almost insulting how easy she made that look. Again, she commands. He tries again, and again, and again. Each time, Queen either dodges, blocks, or redirects his punches with minimal effort. She's not even breaking a sweat while Jae-gu is already breathing hard. After about 20 failed attempts, Queen finally speaks. You're thinking too much. Stop trying to predict what I'm going to do and just commit to your strike. Right now, you're pulling your punches before they even land. She demonstrates by throwing a punch in slow motion, showing him how her entire body moves with the strike, how her hips rotate, how her shoulder extends, how her feet pivot. Fighting isn't just about your fists, it's about using your whole body as a weapon. And then, I kid you not, Queen actually starts teaching him, like proper technique, how to stand, how to move, how to generate power from his core. She's still cold and blunt about it, but she's genuinely showing him what he's doing wrong and how to fix it. This goes on for like an hour. Jae-gu is exhausted, sweating through his shirt, but he's actually learning. And Queen? She's still barely even winded. Finally, she calls it quits. That's enough for today. You're still terrible, but at least now you're slightly less terrible. Wow, what a compliment. Jae-gu is about to thank her when Queen holds up a hand. Don't get the wrong idea. I'm not doing this because I like you or because I care about you. I'm doing this because watching you flail around like a dying fish is embarrassing for the entire school. If you're going to be here, You might as well not be completely useless. She starts packing up her stuff. Same time tomorrow. Don't be late. And just like that, she leaves. Jae-gu is standing there in shock, trying to process what just happened. Did the Queen, just agree to train him? Why? What's her angle? Is this some kind of long-term humiliation plan? If you're as confused as Jae-gu right now, smash that like button because trust me, this situation gets even more complicated. So the next day at school, Jae-gu is walking around in a daze. His body is sore from the training, but in a different way than usual, like he actually used his muscles instead of just getting beat up. He's replaying Queen's instructions in his head, trying to remember everything she taught him. During combat class, something wild happens. He's sparring with the same girl who's been destroying him for weeks, and this time, he actually manages to dodge one of her attacks. Just one. But it's enough to make her pause in surprise. The other students notice. Whispers start spreading. Did he just dodge that? Wait, when did he learn to move like that? Is he actually improving? Even the instructor notices and gives him a slight nod of approval. It's tiny, but for Jae-gu, it feels like winning the Olympics. But not everyone is happy about his improvement. Remember those girls who jumped him in the alley? Yeah, they're watching from the sidelines and they do not look pleased. Their plan was to break him down until he quit, but instead he's actually getting better. That's a problem for them. After class, one of them, her name is Ji-soo, and she's like the ringleader of the anti-boy brigade, corners Jae-gu in the hallway. I don't know what you're trying to prove, she hisses, but it's not going to work. You're still going to get destroyed in the tournament. Jae-gu, feeling slightly more confident after his training session with Queen, actually stands up straighter. Maybe, but I'm not quitting. Ji-soo's eyes narrow. We'll see about that. That night, Jae-gu shows up for his second training session with Queen. She's already there, warming up, and when he walks in, she doesn't even acknowledge him, just starts barking instructions. We're working on defense today. Your offense is hopeless, so let's at least make sure you can protect yourself. For the next hour, Queen basically uses Jae-gu as a practice dummy, but in a teaching way. She throws punches and kicks in slow motion, showing him where to put his guard, how to deflect instead of absorbing hits, how to create distance when he's overwhelmed. Most people think fighting is about attacking, Queen explains while demonstrating a blocking technique. But defense is more important. If you can't protect yourself, you're dead before the fight even starts. During a water break, Jae-gu finally works up the courage to ask the question that's been eating at him. Why are you helping me? Queen takes a sip from her water bottle, not looking at him. For a moment, he thinks she's not going to answer. Then she says, when I first came to Wilds High, I was nobody. Poor family, no connections, no reputation, just raw talent and a lot of anger. She pauses, and Jae-gu realizes this might be the most personal thing Queen has ever shared with anyone. The other students looked down on me, said I didn't belong, that I was contaminating their prestigious school. Queen's jaw tightens. So I fought. Every single person who challenged me, I beat, climbed the ranks until nobody could say I didn't deserve to be here. She finally looks at Jae-gu. You remind me of that, except you don't even know how to fight, which makes it worse. But you're still here, still trying. It's either really brave or really stupid. Probably stupid, Jae-gu admits. Queen almost smiles. Yeah, probably. Subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this insane journey because things are about to get even crazier. The training continues every night for the next week. Jae-gu is improving steadily. He's still nowhere near the level of even the average Wilds High student, but he's not completely helpless anymore. He can block some attacks, dodge others, and occasionally land a hit during sparring. But more than the physical training, something else is happening. Queen is opening up to him. Not a lot. She's still Queen, still intimidating and cold most of the time. But little things slip through. Stories about her past, comments about other students, rare moments of dry humor. One night, she's teaching him footwork when she suddenly stops and says, You know Moon Young told you about my background, right? Jae-gu freezes. Yeah, she mentioned you grew up poor. Queen nods. She's terrible at keeping secrets. But yeah, I grew up in a neighborhood not much better than where you live now. Single mom working 3 jobs. We barely scraped by. She resumes the footwork drill. Fighting was my way out. Started training at a community gym when I was 8. Turned out I was good at it. Really good. Got scouted by Wilds High when I was 13. Full scholarship just like you. What happened to your mom? Jae-gu asks, then immediately regrets it because it might be too personal. But Queen answers, she's doing better now. I send her money from tournament winnings. Got her out of that neighborhood into a decent apartment. Her expression softens just slightly. That's why I fight. Every match, every championship, it's for her. Jae-gu feels a connection forming. They're from the same world, fighting for the same reasons. The only difference is Queen is an absolute warrior and he's trying. The tournament is now 3 days away and the entire school is buzzing with anticipation. The brackets have been posted and Jae-gu's first opponent is actually not terrible. She's a first-year student, relatively new to fighting, probably the best matchup he could hope for. There's a chance, a small chance, he might not get completely annihilated. But the rich kid, Dal Young, oh man, he got screwed. His first opponent is one of the Gang of Four. He's going to get destroyed in round 1 and everyone knows it. The guy is walking around looking like he's already planning his funeral. The day before the tournament, Queen calls for one final training session. When Jae-gu arrives, she's standing in the center of the training room with an expression he's never seen before. Something almost like pride. All right, she says, tomorrow you're going to step into that ring and you're going to represent Wilds High as one of its students. I don't care if you win or lose. What I care about is that you don't embarrass yourself or the training I've given you. She gets into a fighting stance. So tonight we're going full contact. No more holding back. I'm going to come at you like a real opponent, and you're going to defend yourself using everything you've learned. Jae-gu's eyes widen. Wait, you mean? I mean I'm going to fight you for real. Well, real-ish. I'll pull my punches so I don't actually kill you, but I won't be going easy. This is it, the final test before the tournament. Jae-gu takes a deep breath, gets into his stance, the correct stance that Queen taught him, and nods. Queen moves. And holy hell, she's fast. Even when she's going easy, she's moving at a speed Jae-gu can barely track. She throws a combination of punches, and he manages to block the first 2, but the third one slips through his guard and tags him in the ribs. It doesn't hurt, she definitely pulled the punch, but it's a reminder of how far above him she is. Again, Queen shouts. Don't just stand there, move! Jae-gu starts moving, using the footwork she taught him. When Queen attacks, he tries to create distance. When she presses forward, he looks for openings to counter. It's not pretty, but he's actually applying what he learned. The sparring session lasts 20 minutes, and by the end, Jae-gu is completely exhausted. Queen tagged him probably 50 times, but he also managed to land 3 hits on her. 3 against Queen. They're not significant hits, just grazing shots that Queen let through to test his timing. But still, 3 months ago, he couldn't even throw a proper punch. Queen steps back and nods. You'll do. You're still going to lose tomorrow, but at least you'll lose with dignity. Thanks, Jae-gu manages between gasping breaths. I think. One more thing, Queen says, her expression getting serious. There are students who don't want you here. Students who might try to hurt you in the ring. Tournament rules be damned. If someone comes at you dirty, don't try to be honorable. Protect yourself by any means necessary. Understood? Jae-gu nods, feeling a chill run down his spine. Understood. Queen turns to leave, then pauses at the door. Oh, and Jae-gu, good luck tomorrow. It's the first time she's called him by his name instead of just you or scholarship kid, and it's definitely the first time she's wished him luck. Drop a comment with your predictions for the tournament because I need to know if you think our boy stands a chance. Tournament day arrives and the energy at Wilds High is electric. The entire school has gathered in the massive gymnasium that's been converted into a proper fighting arena. There are multiple rings set up, bleachers packed with students, and even some media coverage because apparently this tournament is a big deal in the martial arts world. Jae-gu is in the locker room trying not to throw up from nerves. The other two male students are there too. Dal-young looks pale and terrified because he knows he's about to face a top-tier fighter. The other guy, his name is Tae-young, is just trying to stay invisible as usual. The first matches start, and they're brutal. These girls are not playing around. Jae-gu watches through a monitor as students he's seen in the hallways absolutely destroy each other in the ring. Submission holds, knockout punches, technical superiority. It's intense. Then Dal-young's match comes up, and it's exactly as bad as everyone predicted. His opponent, one of the gang of four, dismantles him in under 2 minutes. It's not even a fight. It's a demonstration of the gap between regular students and elite fighters. Dal-young taps out after getting caught in an armbar and limps out of the ring looking humiliated. Great. That's super encouraging for Jae-gu's confidence. Finally, his name gets called. Song Jae-gu versus Park Min-ji, Ring 3. This is it, the moment of truth. Jae-gu walks to the ring, and the crowd's reaction is mixed. Some students are curious to see how the scholarship boy does. Others are openly laughing, already predicting his loss. He can see Jisoo and her crew in the stands, smirking like they're watching a comedy show. But then he spots Queen. She's sitting with Moon Young in the VIP section reserved for top-ranked fighters. Their eyes meet across the gymnasium, and Queen gives him the smallest nod. "You've got this," her expression seems to say. Or maybe, "Don't embarrass me after all that training." His opponent, Park Min-ji, enters the ring. She's about his height, lean but muscular, and she looks nervous too. This is probably her first real tournament match. They're both underdogs in their own ways. The referee goes over the rules, standard MMA regulations, 3-minute rounds, tap out or knockout to win. Then he steps back and signals for the match to start. The bell rings. Jae-gu and Min-ji circle each other cautiously. Neither wants to make the first move. The crowd is getting restless, some people starting to jeer at the slow pace. Then Min-ji lunges forward with a punch. Jae-gu, using the footwork Queen drilled into him, sidesteps and counters with a jab. It connects with Min-ji's shoulder. First point to him. The crowd reacts with surprise. Wait, did he just land a hit? Is he actually trained? Min-ji looks shocked too, but she recovers quickly and presses the attack. She throws a combination and Jae-gu blocks most of it, though one punch gets through and catches him in the ribs. It hurts, but he stays on his feet. They exchange attacks for the next minute, and something crazy is happening. Jae-gu is actually competing. He's not winning, but he's not getting demolished either. He's applying everything Queen taught him, maintaining distance, protecting his center line, looking for openings. Min-ji goes for a takedown and manages to grab his legs. They hit the mat, and now it's a grappling match. This is where Jae-gu is weakest. Ground fighting was barely covered in his training sessions. Min-ji tries to establish a dominant position, but Jae-gu is fighting it, using his strength advantage to prevent her from locking anything in. They struggle on the ground for what feels like forever, neither able to gain a decisive advantage. The round ends and they separate, both breathing hard. The crowd is actually engaged now. This isn't the one-sided beatdown everyone expected. Between rounds, Jae-gu looks up at Queen again. She's leaning forward, watching intently. Moon Young is saying something to her, but Queen's eyes are locked on the ring. Round 2 begins and Min-ji comes out more aggressive. She's realized she needs to finish this before Jae-gu figures out how to counter her style. She throws a spinning kick that Jae-gu barely ducks under, then follows up with a flurry of punches. Jae-gu's defense is breaking down. He's taking more hits now. His guard is dropping from fatigue. Min-ji senses the opportunity and goes for it. She feints a high punch, then shoots in for another takedown. But this time, Jae-gu remembers something Queen taught him about sprawling to defend takedowns. He drops his hips back, puts his weight on Min-ji's shoulders, and manages to stuff the attempt. Then, in a moment of pure instinct, he throws a knee strike as she's pulling back. It connects with her stomach. Not hard. He pulled it because he's not trying to actually hurt her, but enough to score points and knock the wind out of her. Min-ji stumbles back, gasping. The referee moves in to check if she's okay. She waves him off, but she's clearly hurt. The crowd is going wild now. The underdog male student is actually holding his own against a trained female fighter. They reset and continue. The final minute of round 2 is intense. Both fighters are exhausted, throwing slower but more desperate attacks. Jae-gu lands a solid punch to Min-ji's headgear. She responds with a body kick that makes him grunt in pain. The bell rings again. It's going to a third round. The crowd is chanting now, actually engaged in this fight. Some are chanting Min-ji's name. Others, surprisingly, are chanting for Jae-gu. Final round. Both fighters are dead on their feet. This is going to come down to who wants it more. They meet in the center, and it's a slugfest. No more technique, no more strategy, just pure heart. Punch after punch, neither giving ground. Jae-gu's face is red from the impacts. Min-ji's breathing is ragged. Then Min-ji makes a mistake. She overextends on a punch and loses her balance slightly. Jae-gu sees the opening, a tiny window of opportunity that Queen's training taught him to recognize. He steps in and throws the cleanest punch he's ever thrown in his life. It's not powerful, but it's perfectly timed and perfectly placed. It catches Min-ji flush on the chin, protected by her headgear but still, and her legs buckle. The referee jumps in. "Fighter down! Match over!" Wait, what? The crowd erupts. Did Jae-gu just win? Did the scholarship kid who couldn't fight 3 weeks ago just win his first tournament match? The referee raises Jae-gu's hand, and the gymnasium goes crazy. Half the crowd is cheering in shock and excitement. The other half, including Jisoo and her crew, looks absolutely furious. Jae-gu helps Min-ji up and they bow to each other respectfully. She's disappointed, but she managed a small smile. "You're better than I thought," she admits. Jae-gu leaves the ring in a daze. Did that really just happen? He looks up at the VIP section and Queen is standing now, arms still crossed, but there's something that might be satisfaction on her face. Moon Young is clapping enthusiastically and saying something to Queen that makes her roll her eyes. But the celebration is short-lived because Jae-gu now realizes something terrible. He won, which means he advances to the next round, which means his next opponent is going to be much stronger than Min-ji. He checks the bracket board and his blood runs cold. His next opponent? Jisoo, the girl who jumped him in the alley, the girl who's been making his life hell, the girl who wants him gone from Wilds High. And she's a ranked fighter, way above his level. Jisoo is standing across the gymnasium, staring at him with pure hatred in her eyes. She mouths something that looks like, "You're dead." So Jae-gu just won his first tournament match, and you'd think he'd be celebrating, right? Wrong. Because now he's staring at the bracket board, looking at his next opponent's name, and realizing he's absolutely screwed. Jisoo, the girl who literally jumped him in an alley, the girl who's been orchestrating a campaign to make him quit school, the girl who just mouthed "You're dead" at him from across the gymnasium. And she's not just some random student, she's ranked in the top 30 fighters at Wilds High, which means she's actually good, like really good. The only reason she hasn't climbed higher is because the top ranks are dominated by absolute monsters like Queen and the Gang of Four. Jae-gu is standing there having a full existential crisis when someone taps his shoulder. He turns around and it's Moon Young, Queen's best friend and second strongest fighter in the school. "Congratulations on your win," she says, but there's something in her tone that sounds almost sympathetic. That was impressive for someone who couldn't throw a punch a month ago. "Thanks," Jae-gu manages, "but I'm pretty sure my next match is going to be a massacre." Moon Young glances at the bracket board, then back at him. "Jisoo? Yeah, she's going to come at you hard. She's got a personal vendetta now. You're not just the unwanted male student anymore. You're the male student who's actually winning matches. That makes you dangerous to her little crusade." Great, that's super comforting. Moon Young actually smiles. "Look, I'll be honest with you. You're probably going to lose. Jisoo has been training here for 3 years, and she specializes in aggressive striking. She's going to try to overwhelm you in the first round." Again, not helping. "But," Moon Young continues, "Queen seems to think you've got potential. And Queen doesn't waste time on people she doesn't believe in. So maybe you'll surprise everyone again. She starts to walk away, then turns back. Oh, and word of advice? Don't try to match Jisoo's aggression. You'll lose that battle every time. Stay defensive, weather the storm, and look for your moment. That's your only shot. Then she's gone, leaving Jae-gu to contemplate his impending doom. If you're wondering how our boy is going to survive this, smash that like button and keep watching because this match is going to be intense. The matches continue throughout the day. Jae-gu watches from the sidelines as other fighters compete, trying to learn anything that might help him. He sees Jisoo's match before his. She's fighting some poor girl from the second-year class. And holy hell, Jisoo is vicious. She comes out swinging with combinations that are fast, precise, and brutal. Her opponent tries to defend, but Jisoo is relentless, pushing forward with strike after strike until the girl is backed into the corner of the ring. Then Jisoo lands a spinning back kick that drops her opponent to the mat. Match over in under 90 seconds. The crowd cheers. Jisoo raises her arms in victory, then looks directly at Jae-gu with this predatory smile that says, "You're next." Fantastic. Just fantastic. That evening, the tournament breaks for the day. The next round of matches will be tomorrow, giving fighters time to rest and recover. Jae-gu drags himself back to the locker room, every muscle in his body screaming from his earlier match. He's sitting on a bench, icing his ribs, when Queen walks in. She's not supposed to be in the male locker room, but apparently nobody tells Queen where she can or can't go. "You won," she states, like she's still processing this information. "Barely," Jae-gu replies. "And now I have to fight Jisoo tomorrow, and she's gonna kill me." Queen sits down next to him, which is weird because Queen doesn't really do casual sitting with people. Jisoo is good, she admits. Fast hands, good footwork, decent power. But she has a weakness. Jae-gu perks up. She does? She gets emotional, fights with anger instead of strategy. When things aren't going her way, she starts making mistakes, overextending on punches, dropping her guard to load up power shots, telegraphing her kicks. Queen stands up and moves to the center of the room. "Here's what you're going to do. Round 1, you're going to play pure defense. Block, dodge, stay out of range. Let her tire herself out trying to destroy you. She'll get frustrated." She demonstrates a defensive stance. "Round 2, you start countering. Nothing fancy, just quick jabs when she overcommits. Make her more frustrated. She'll start taking risks." "And round 3? Jae-gu asks. Queen's expression turns serious. "Round 3, she's going to go all out. She'll try to finish you with everything she's got. That's when you look for the opening. One clean shot when she's fully committed to an attack. That's your only chance. It's a long shot. Actually, it's a really long shot. But it's more of a plan than Jae-gu had 5 minutes ago." "Why are you helping me so much?" he asks. "I mean, I'm grateful, but why?" Queen is quiet for a moment. "Because everyone deserves a fair shot. When I first came to this school, people tried to push me out too. Said I didn't belong. The difference is I could fight back. You can't. Not yet anyway." She heads toward the door. "Get some rest. Tomorrow is going to be hell." That night, Jae-gu barely sleeps. He keeps replaying Jisoo's match in his head, analyzing her movements, trying to spot the weaknesses Queen mentioned. His siblings notice he's distracted, but he doesn't tell them about the tournament. They just worry. The next day arrives way too fast. Jae-gu shows up at the gymnasium, and the atmosphere is even more intense than yesterday. The bracket has narrowed down significantly. Only the stronger fighters remain. Dal-young and Tae-young, the other 2 male students, are both out of the tournament. It's just Jae-gu left representing the boys. No pressure or anything. He's warming up when Jisoo approaches him. She's got 2 of her friends with her, the same girls from the alley ambush. "I'm going to enjoy this," Jisoo says with a cold smile. "Everyone's going to watch me put you in your place. And when you're lying on that mat, tapping out in front of the whole school, maybe then you'll finally understand that you don't belong here." Jae-gu meets her eyes. A month ago, he would have looked away, intimidated. But Queen's training has given him something he didn't have before. Not just fighting skills, but confidence. "We'll see," he says simply. Jisoo's smile falters just slightly. She wasn't expecting him to stand his ground. "Yeah, we will." The matches before theirs seemed to take forever. Jae-gu is backstage trying to stay loose, trying to keep his nerves under control. He can hear the crowd reacting to the fights, cheers, gasps, the occasional groan when someone gets hit hard. Then finally, his match gets called. Song Jae-gu versus Park Jisoo, Ring 1. Ring 1, the main ring, the one with the best view for spectators. Of course, they put this match on Ring 1. It's the most anticipated fight of the round. The male scholarship student versus one of the girls who wants him gone. Jae-gu walks out to a loud reaction. The crowd is split. Some are cheering for him after his upset victory yesterday. Others are clearly rooting for Jisoo to destroy him. He can see students holding up signs, hear people placing bets on how quickly he'll lose. He climbs into the ring and sees Queen in her usual spot in the VIP section. She gives him that same small nod from yesterday. Moon Young is next to her, looking genuinely interested in how this is going to play out. Jisoo enters from the opposite side and the crowd erupts. She's clearly the favorite. She plays to the audience, raising her arms, soaking in the support. When she looks at Jae-gu, there's nothing but contempt in her eyes. The referee calls them to the center. "I want a clean fight. Respect the rules. Protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves." Jae-gu extends his glove. Jisoo looks at it, then deliberately turns away without touching it. The disrespect is intentional, calculated to get in his head. They return to their corners. The referee signals. The bell rings. And Jisoo comes out like an absolute hurricane. She charges across the ring, throwing a combination of punches so fast Jae-gu barely has time to get his guard up. He's immediately on the defensive, backing up, trying to block or deflect the strikes. Some get through. He takes hits to his ribs, his shoulders, his arms. The crowd is going wild. "Get him, Jisoo! Finish him! This is embarrassing!" But Jae-gu remembers Queen's strategy. Round 1 is about survival. Don't try to fight back yet, just survive. He keeps his guard tight, moves his feet to create angles, does everything he can to minimize the damage. Jisoo is relentless. She backs him into the corner and unloads a barrage of strikes. Jab, cross, hook, uppercut. She's throwing everything at him. Jae-gu turtles up, protecting his head, taking hits on his arms and body, but not letting anything clean through. The round feels like it lasts an hour, but it's only 3 minutes. When the bell rings, Jae-gu stumbles back to his corner, breathing hard. His arms feel like lead from holding them up to block. His ribs are screaming in pain. But he survived. Round 1 is done. Subscribe so you don't miss how this insane fight ends, because it's about to get wild. Jisoo is in her corner looking frustrated. She threw everything at him and he's still standing. Her coaches are telling her something, but she's barely listening, just staring at Jae-gu with increasing anger. Round 2 begins and Jisoo comes out even more aggressive, if that's possible. But Jae-gu notices something. Her combinations are getting sloppier. She's putting more power into each punch, which means she's taking longer to reset between strikes. This is what Queen was talking about, the emotion taking over. Jae-gu starts implementing phase 2 of the strategy. When Jisoo overextends on a right cross, he slips to the side and throws a quick jab that catches her on the cheek. It's not a power shot, just a point scorer, but it lands. The crowd reacts with surprise. Jisoo looks shocked that he actually hit her. She attacks again, throwing a wild haymaker that Jae-gu ducks under. He counters with another jab, this one catching her in the body. 2 points in his favor. Jisoo is getting pissed now. Her face is flushed. Her movements are becoming more aggressive but less controlled. She telegraphs a roundhouse kick, and Jae-gu steps back, letting it miss by inches. While she's off balance from the kick, he steps in and lands a clean punch to her headgear. The crowd is going crazy now. This isn't the one-sided beatdown everyone expected. The scholarship kid is actually fighting back. Jisoo resets and charges in with a flying knee, a high-risk, high-reward move. If it connects, it's probably game over. But Jae-gu sees it coming and manages to sidestep. Jisoo lands awkwardly, and for just a second, her guard is down. Jae-gu throws a combination, jab, cross, hook, just like Queen taught him. All three punches land. Clean, solid, undeniable. Jisoo staggers back, clearly hurt. The referee moves in to check if she's okay. She waves him off angrily, but there's blood coming from her nose. Not a lot, but enough. The bell rings for the end of round 2. Both fighters are exhausted, but the momentum has shifted. Jae-gu is no longer just surviving. He's actually competing. In the VIP section, Queen is leaning forward, completely focused on the match. Moon-young is saying something to her, but Queen isn't responding, her eyes locked on the ring. Final round. This is it. Everything comes down to the next 3 minutes. Jisoo comes out wild. Queen was right. She's going all out now, throwing caution completely out the window. Big swinging punches, spinning attacks, desperate attempts to land something decisive. Jae-gu is moving, staying defensive, waiting for his moment. Jisoo throws a spinning back fist that he barely ducks under. She follows with a Superman punch that he blocks, but the impact nearly knocks him off his feet. She's strong, she's skilled, she's experienced, but she's also emotional, and that's making her sloppy. Jisoo loads up for a massive overhand right, putting everything she has into this one punch. It's the kind of punch that would end the fight if it connects. She commits fully to it, stepping forward with all her weight behind the strike. And that's when Jae-gu sees it. The opening Queen told him to look for. Time seems to slow down. Jisoo's punch is coming, but because she's so committed to it, her entire left side is exposed. No guard, no protection, just open. Jae-gu steps to the side, not back, not forward, but side, and throws the cleanest, most technically perfect counterpunch of his entire life. His hips rotate, his shoulder extends, all his weight transfers into the strike exactly like Queen showed him. His fist connects with Jisoo's jaw right as her punch misses past his ear. Jisoo's eyes go wide, her legs buckle, she drops to one knee, clearly stunned. The referee immediately steps in. Fight her down, 8 count. The crowd is in absolute chaos. Is this really happening? Did Jae-gu just drop one of the ranked fighters? The referee counts. 1, 2, 3. Jisoo is trying to get up, but her legs aren't cooperating. She's conscious but dazed, struggling to stand. 4, 5, 6. She makes it to 1 foot, using the ropes to pull herself up. 7, 8. She's upright now, but barely. The referee checks her eyes, asks if she can continue. Jisoo nods, but it's clear she's not in good shape. 9. The referee waves his hands. Match over. Winner by technical knockout, Song Jae-gu. The gymnasium explodes. Half the crowd is cheering in absolute shock and amazement. The other half is in stunned silence, unable to believe what they just witnessed. Jae-gu stands there in disbelief. Did he really just win? Did he just beat Jisoo, the girl who's been tormenting him for weeks? The referee raises his hand and the reality sinks in. He won. He actually won. He looks up at the VIP section and Queen is standing, arms no longer crossed. There's something on her face that might actually be pride. Moon-young is jumping up and down, cheering like crazy. But then Jae-gu does something unexpected. He walks over to Jisoo, who's sitting in the corner with her coaches, still looking dazed. He extends his hand. Good match, he says simply. Jisoo looks at his hand like it's a foreign object. The crowd has gone quiet, watching this moment. For a long second, it seems like she's going to refuse. But then slowly she reaches up and shakes his hand. You got lucky, she mutters. But there's no venom in it. Just defeat. Maybe, Jae-gu admits, but I'll take it. As he leaves the ring, students are looking at him differently now. Not with hostility or contempt, but with something like respect. It's weird, it's uncomfortable, but it's also kind of amazing. He's barely made it backstage when Queen appears. Without warning, without ceremony, she punches him in the shoulder. Hard. Ow, what was that for? For not listening to my instructions, Queen says, but she's almost smiling. I said look for one opening. You threw a combination in round 2. That wasn't the plan. Sorry? Don't apologize. It worked. Queen's expression becomes serious again. You did good out there. Better than good. You proved you belong at Wilds High. Before Jae-gu can respond, Moon Young appears and literally tackles him with a hug. That was amazing! Did you see Jisoo's face when you hit her? I wish I had recorded it. Moon Young, you're crushing him, Queen says flatly. Oh, right, sorry, Moon Young releases him. But seriously, that was incredible. Nobody expected you to win. Hell, nobody expected you to survive. Other students start approaching, congratulating him, asking about his training. For the first time since arriving at Wilds High, Jae-gu feels like he might actually have a future here. But then he looks at the bracket board and reality crashes back down. He advanced to the quarterfinals, which means his next opponent is, oh no. His next opponent is one of the Gang of Four, not Queen, she's on the other side of the bracket, but still one of the 4 strongest fighters in the entire school. A girl named Yuan Gai who specializes in submission grappling and has never lost a match by anything other than complete domination. Jae-gu's winning streak is about to meet a very harsh reality check. Drop a comment telling me if you think Jae-gu has any chance against one of the Gang of Four, because honestly, I'm not sure even Queen's training can save him from this one. So Jae-gu just pulled off the impossible. He beat Jisoo, one of the ranked fighters who literally wanted him gone from the school. Everyone's treating him like some kind of hero now. But reality just slapped him in the face because his next opponent is Yuan Gai, one of the Gang of Four. You know, the 4 strongest fighters in the entire school. The girls who are basically untouchable. Yeah, our boy's about to get absolutely demolished. Yuan Gai isn't just good, she's a specialist. While most fighters at Wilds High focus on striking, Njai is a grappling machine. Judo throws, wrestling takedowns, Brazilian jiu-jitsu submissions. If the fight hits the ground, you're done. She submitted every single opponent she's ever faced, most of them in under 2 minutes. Jae-gu is watching footage of her previous matches, and it's terrifying. Girls who are way more experienced than him getting thrown around like rag dolls, tied up in submission holds that make them tap out almost immediately. In one match, she literally makes a girl tap out to an armbar in 30 seconds. You're staring at that screen like it's going to give you answers. Queen's voice comes from behind him. Jae-gu nearly jumps out of his skin. How do you keep sneaking up on me? I don't sneak, you're just not paying attention. Queen sits down next to him, watching the footage. Njai is probably the worst possible matchup for you. Thanks, that's super encouraging. I'm being realistic. Your striking has improved, but your ground game is basically non-existent. The second she gets her hands on you, it's over. Jae-gu slumps in his chair. So I should just forfeit? Save myself the embarrassment? Queen is quiet for a moment. Do you want to forfeit? No, Jae-gu admits, but I also don't want to get choked out in front of the entire school in under a minute. Then we have work to do. Queen stands up. Meet me in the training room in 20 minutes. We're going to cram as much grappling defense into your brain as physically possible before tomorrow. If you're already stressed about this match, smash that like button because it's about to get so much worse. That night's training session is brutal. Queen brings in Moon Young, who's also skilled in grappling, and the two of them spend 3 hours just throwing Jae-gu to the ground over and over again, teaching him basic escape techniques. When she shoots for a takedown, sprawl, Queen barks as Moon Young demonstrates. Get your hips back. Put your weight on her shoulders. Don't let her get under your center of gravity. Jae-gu tries to sprawl, but Moon Young still manages to take him down. He hits the mat hard for probably the 50th time that night. Again, Queen commands. They reset. Moon Young shoots in. Jae-gu sprawls, better this time, and actually manages to stuff the takedown for like 2 seconds. Then Moon Young adjusts, gets his leg, and dumps him on his back anyway. Better, Queen admits. You lasted 3 seconds longer that time. I'm going to die tomorrow, Jae-gu groans from the mat. Probably, Moon-young agrees cheerfully, but at least you'll die having learned something. They move on to submission defense. Queen puts Jae-gu in various holds, arm bars, triangles, rear naked chokes, and teaches him how to defend them. Most of the techniques boil down to, don't let her get you in this position in the first place, which isn't super helpful. The thing about Injai, Moon-young explains while demonstrating a triangle escape, is that she's so technical that even if you know what's coming, it's hard to stop. She's like a python. Once she wraps around you, you're done. Again, not helping. Queen pulls Jae-gu aside during a water break. Listen to me. You're not going to out-grapple in GII. That's not realistic. Your only chance is to keep the fight standing for as long as possible. Use your footwork, create distance. Make her come to you. Every second the fight stays on your feet is a victory. And when she inevitably takes me down? Then you survive as long as you can and hope the round ends before she submits you. Queen's expression is serious. I'm not going to lie to you. The odds are really, really bad. But you've already done impossible things this tournament. Maybe you've got one more impossible thing left in you. They train until midnight. Jae-gu leaves the school barely able to walk, every muscle screaming in protest. But he's got a game plan now. It's a terrible game plan with like a 5% chance of success, but it's something. Tournament day arrives, the quarterfinals. Only 8 fighters left, and Jae-gu is somehow one of them. The gymnasium is packed. Word has spread about the scholarship kid who's been pulling off upsets, and everyone wants to see if he can do it again or if he's finally going to get destroyed. Jae-gu is in the locker room, wrapping his hands, trying to keep his breathing steady. The other remaining fighters are serious competitors, ranked students, tournament veterans, girls who've been training for this their entire lives. And then there's him, the broke kid who learned to fight in 6 weeks. Moon-young pokes her head into the locker room. Hey, In Jae-ai is asking to speak with you before the match. What? Why? No idea, but she's waiting outside. Jae-gu steps out and finds Yoo In-jae standing in the hallway. She's shorter than he expected, maybe 5 or 4, with her hair pulled back in a tight bun. She doesn't look intimidating at first glance, until you see her eyes. They're the eyes of someone who's completely confident in their abilities. Song Jae-gu, she says. Not a question, a statement. That's me. I've been watching your matches. You've improved significantly in a very short time. Queen's been training you, hasn't she? No point in denying it. Yeah. In-gi nods. I thought so. I recognize her style and your movements. She pauses. I wanted to tell you that I respect what you've done. Coming to this school as a male student took courage. Winning matches took skill. You've earned your place here. Jae-gu wasn't expecting that. Thank you. But, In-gi continues, I'm still going to submit you. Probably in the first round. Nothing personal. I just don't believe in holding back. I hope you understand. It's the most polite I'm going to destroy you speech Jae-gu has ever heard. I understand, and I'm still going to try to beat you. In-gi actually smiles. Good. I'd be disappointed if you didn't. She bows slightly and walks away. Jae-gu stands there processing that conversation. In-gi is like the anti-Jisoo, respectful, professional, but probably even more dangerous because she's not fighting with emotion. She's fighting with pure technical skill. The matches before his seem to fly by. Before he knows it, his name is being called. Song Jae-gu versus Yoo In-gi, Ring 1. Here we go, the moment of truth. The crowd reaction when he walks out is wild. After his upset victories, he's actually got fans now. Students are chanting his name, holding up signs, cheering for the underdog. It's surreal. But there are also plenty of people who think he's about to get demolished. And honestly, they're probably right. In-jae enters to even louder cheers. She's a crowd favorite, one of the gang of 4, multiple championship titles, never lost a match. She waves to the audience with this calm confidence that comes from knowing exactly how good you are. They meet in the center of the ring. The referee goes over the rules. They touch gloves. Ngai's grip is firm, respectful. Back to their corners. The bell rings. And Njai doesn't charge. She doesn't rush. She just moves forward methodically, like a predator who knows the prey has nowhere to go. Jae-gu circles, keeping his distance using his footwork. Every instinct Queen drilled into him is screaming to stay out of range. Don't let her get close. Don't let her grab you. Ngai feints a punch and Jae-gu flinches, backing up. She wasn't even trying to hit him, she was testing his reactions. Now she knows he's scared of the takedown. She moves in again, this time actually throwing a jab. Jae-gu blocks it and counters with his own jab, trying to keep her at striking distance. Ngai doesn't even flinch. She just closes the distance, gets inside his reach, and suddenly her hands are on his collar. Oh no. She pulls him off balance and sweeps his leg in one smooth motion. Jae-gu hits the mat hard and Njai is immediately on top of him, establishing a dominant position. This is it. This is where he loses. Ngai is moving to take his back, the position she needs for a rear naked choke, her signature submission. Jae-gu is trying to defend using the techniques Queen taught him last night, but Njai is just so much more skilled. She's countering his counters, staying 2 steps ahead of every defense he attempts. She gets one arm under his chin, then the other arm comes around to lock in the choke. Jae-gu can feel the pressure building, cutting off his air supply. He's got maybe 5 seconds before he has to tap out. But then he remembers something Queen said. Even if she gets a submission locked in, don't panic. Use those last few seconds to try something. You never know. Jae-gu does something desperate and probably stupid. Instead of trying to defend the choke, he uses his last bit of strength to roll his entire body, throwing Ngai off balance. It's not pretty, it's not technical, but it creates just enough space for him to slip his chin down and break the choke. Ngai loses the submission, but immediately transitions to an armbar attempt. Jae-gu barely manages to stack her, putting his weight on her to prevent her from extending his arm. They struggle on the ground, Ngai trying to finish, Jae-gu just trying to survive. The round timer is ticking down. 30 seconds left. 20, 10. The bell rings. Jae-gu scrambles back to his corner, gasping for air. He survived the first round. Barely survived, but still. That's more than most people do against Njai. The crowd is going insane. Nobody expected him to make it out of round 1. Queen is standing in the VIP section, arms crossed, but there's this intense focus on her face. Subscribe so you don't miss the end of this tournament because it's about to get crazy. Round 2 begins and Njai comes out more aggressive. She's realized that Jae-gu has better defense than she expected, which means she needs to finish this before he finds any kind of rhythm. She shoots for a takedown immediately. Jae-gu sprawls better than before, but Njai still manages to get him down. They're on the mat again and it's the same story. Ngai hunting for submissions, Jae-gu desperately defending. But something's different this round. Jae-gu is starting to recognize the setups. When Ngai goes for an armbar, he stacks her before she can extend. When she tries for a triangle, he postures up to prevent her from locking it. He's not good at ground fighting, but the crash course with Queen and Moon-young is paying off. Ngai is getting frustrated. You can see it in how she's transitioning between techniques faster, trying to catch him off guard. She goes for a Kimura, switches to an Americana, tries for a guillotine when he defends. But Jae-gu keeps surviving. Every time it looks like she's got a submission locked in, he manages to escape, or the position changes or the round timer saves him. Round 2 ends. Jae-gu is exhausted. His arms feel like jelly. But he's still in the fight. In the VIP section, Moon-young is literally pulling on Queen's sleeve in excitement. He's actually doing it. He's surviving against Ngai. Queen's eyes never leave the ring. He's doing better than surviving. He's learning. Final round. Ngai knows she needs to finish this. Jae-gu knows he just needs to survive 3 more minutes without getting submitted and he might win on points. They reset and Njai comes out with everything she's got. She shoots for a double leg takedown and gets it, slamming Jae-gu to the mat with more force than before. She's done being patient, done being methodical. It's time to end this. She moves to mount position, sitting on his chest, full control. From here, she can rain down punches or transition to any submission she wants. This is the worst position Jae Gu has been in all tournament. Njai starts working for an arm triangle choke, one of her most reliable finishes. She gets the positioning right, starts applying pressure. Jae Gu can feel his consciousness starting to fade. This is it. He's going to lose. He gave it everything he had, but Njai is just too good. But then, and I swear this is what happens, Jae Gu hears Queen's voice in his head from one of their training sessions. When you got nothing left, when you think it's over, that's when you find out what you're really made of. He's not going out like this, not without giving it everything. With the last of his strength, Jae Gu bridges his hips as hard as he can, throwing Njai forward. It breaks the choke, not completely but enough to get some air back in his lungs. Njai immediately adjusts, going for his back again, but Jae Gu is moving now, scrambling, doing anything he can to prevent her from locking in another submission. It's ugly, it's desperate, but he's fighting. They roll around on the mat, Njai trying to establish control, Jae Gu refusing to give it to her. The crowd is on their feet, screaming. This isn't technical grappling anymore. This is pure will against skill. 30 seconds left in the match. Njai gets his back, gets one arm under his chin. The rear naked choke is coming again. 20 seconds. She's locking it in. Jae Gu is defending, but his arms are too tired. His body is too exhausted. 10 seconds. The choke is locked. He can't breathe. His vision is getting blurry. 5 seconds. Tap out or go unconscious. Those are his only options. 3 seconds. Jae Gu's hand raises, about to tap. 2 seconds. The bell rings. The referee steps in. Time! Match over! Njai releases the choke and Jae Gu gasps for air, coughing, barely conscious. Did he survive? Did he make it? The referee is checking with the judges. The crowd is waiting in absolute silence for the decision. The winner by unanimous decision based on points and control time. You, Njai. Njai's hand gets raised and the crowd erupts in applause. She won. Of course she won. But the way she won, having to go all 3 rounds, being pushed harder than most opponents push her. That's significant. Njai helps Jae Gu to his feet. You're tough, she says, and there's genuine respect in her voice. You should be proud. Most people don't last 30 seconds against me. You lasted the full match. I still lost, Jae Gu manages to say. You survived, against one of the gang of 4. That's not nothing, Ingi bows to him. You've earned your place at Wild's High. Nobody can say otherwise now. Jae Gu leaves the ring to a standing ovation. He lost, but the crowd is treating him like a winner anyway. Students are chanting his name, cheering for his effort, showing him the respect he's been fighting for since day one. He makes it backstage and just collapses on a bench, every muscle in his body done. He's got bruises on his bruises. His throat hurts from the chokes. He can barely move. Queen appears, because of course she does, and sits down next to him. You lost, she states. I know, but you didn't get submitted. I know. Do you understand how rare that is? Njai has a 100% submission rate. Everyone she's ever fought has tapped out to her. You're the first person to go the distance. Jae Gu looks at Queen. Really? Really? You just made Wild's High history. Queen stands up. You should rest. The tournament's not over, and I've got my own matches to worry about. She starts to walk away, then pauses. For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. You proved everyone wrong, including me. And then she's gone, leaving Jae Gu with that statement ringing in his ears. Drop a comment telling me what you thought of Jae Gu's journey, because this story is about to wrap up, and I want to hear your reactions. The tournament continues. Jae Gu watches from the sidelines as the semifinals play out. Queen, as expected, absolutely dominates her opponent, winning by knockout in the first round. Moon Young also advances, setting up a finals match between the two best friends. The Queen versus Moonyoung finals is legendary. These two know each other's styles perfectly, have trained together for years. The match goes all 3 rounds, and it's the most technical, high-level fighting Jae-gu has ever seen. In the end, Queen wins by split decision. The crowd goes absolutely wild as she's declared the tournament champion for the 3rd year in a row. But during the awards ceremony, something unexpected happens. The principal of Wilds High, this intimidating older woman who rarely makes public appearances, takes the microphone. Before we award the championship trophy, I'd like to make a special announcement, she says. This tournament was notable for several reasons, but one in particular stands out. Song Jae-gu, please come to the stage. Wait, what? Jae-gu, still sore and bruised, limps onto the stage. The entire school's watching. He has no idea what's happening. Song Jae-gu, you were the first male student to compete in Wilds High tournament history. The principal continues. You came to this school with no fighting experience, faced hostility and discrimination, and persevered despite overwhelming odds. You earned victories against ranked fighters and lasted 3 full rounds against one of our strongest students. She holds up a medal. While you did not win the tournament, your performance demonstrated the values Wilds High seeks to instill in all our students: courage, determination, and the will to improve. Therefore, we are awarding you the Special Achievement Medal for outstanding performance. The crowd erupts in applause. Even students who were hostile to him before are clapping. Jisoo, sitting in the audience, is applauding, reluctantly, but she's doing it. The principal places the medal around Jae-gu's neck. You've proven that you belong at Wilds High. Welcome to our community. Jae-gu is trying not to cry. After everything he's been through, the bullying, the poverty, the fights, the training, this moment makes it all worth it. Queen steps forward and shakes his hand. Congratulations, she says. And for the first time since he's known her, she actually smiles. Not a smirk, not a slight upturn of lips, but an actual genuine smile. That night, Jae-gu is walking home, slowly because everything hurts, when he gets surrounded by a group of students. For a second, he thinks it's another ambush. But then he realizes they're the girls from his combat class. We wanted to apologize, one of them says. We weren't very welcoming when you first arrived. We judged you before giving you a chance. And we wanted to say that you earned our respect, another adds. What you did in the tournament was incredible. They bow to him, an actual formal bow, and walk away, leaving Jae-gu standing there in shock. The next day at school, everything is different. Girls who used to glare at him now nod in acknowledgement. Students who avoided him now say hello in the hallways. He's not an outsider anymore. He's one of them. During combat class, the instructor assigns sparring partners, and several girls actually volunteer to work with him. It's the opposite of his first day when nobody would even stand near him. At lunch, Jae-gu is sitting alone, old habits, when Moonyoung plops down across from him with her tray. Why are you sitting by yourself? That's so depressing. Before he can answer, Queen sits down next to Moonyoung. Then a few other students join them. Suddenly, Jae-gu's table is full, and he's having actual conversations with people. And it feels normal. Good, even. So, Moonyoung says with a mischievous grin, now that you've survived the tournament, are you going to keep training? Because Queen and I were talking, and we think you've got real potential. You were talking about me? Jae-gu looks at Queen. Queen shrugs. You're less terrible than you used to be. That's worth discussing. High praise from Queen, Moonyoung laughs. Trust me, that's basically her saying you're amazing. The conversation flows naturally, and Jae-gu realizes that for the first time in his life, he has friends. Not just acquaintances or classmates, but actual friends who respect him and want to hang out with him. After school, he's walking to the gate when Jisoo approaches him. Here we go, he thinks, round 2 of their rivalry. But Jisoo just stands there for a moment, then says, I was wrong about you. I thought you were just some charity case who didn't deserve to be here. But you proved yourself. You earned your place. She extends her hand. No hard feelings? Jae-gu shakes it. No hard feelings. Good, because next tournament I'm training twice as hard and I'm going to kick your ass. Jae-gu grins. I look forward to it. That evening, he goes home to his siblings who are bouncing off the walls with excitement because they heard about the tournament from other kids at their school. His little brother is pretending to throw punches. His little sister wants him to teach her how to fight. Maybe when you're older, Jae-gu says, ruffling her hair. He makes them dinner, still instant ramen because that's all they can afford. But for the first time in forever, the poverty doesn't feel crushing. He's got the scholarship. He's got a future. His siblings are safe and fed and happy. Later, he's doing homework when his phone buzzes with a message from Queen. Training tomorrow, 6 p.m. Don't be late. Another message from Moon Young. Queen's taking you on as a permanent training partner. That's huge. Congrats. Jae-gu smiles and texts back a simple, I'll be there. He goes to bed that night, sore and exhausted, but feeling something he hasn't felt in years. Hopeful. The story doesn't end here, obviously. Jae-gu has 3 more years at Wilds High. More tournaments to compete in. More challenges to face. A whole school full of fighters who are better than him that he'll need to catch up to. But he's not the helpless kid who showed up on the first day anymore. He's not the scholarship student who doesn't belong. He's Song Jae-gu, the boy who survived the Wilds High tournament, who earned respect through blood and sweat and determination. And honestly, that's just the beginning of his story. So there you have it, the wild, intense, emotional journey of a broke kid who got thrown into an all-girls fighting school and somehow survived. If you enjoyed this story, make sure you're subscribed because there are tons more crazy stories coming your way. Drop a comment telling me what you thought. Was Queen the MVP? Was Jae-gu's win against Jisoo the best moment? Let me know. And if you made it this far, you're a real one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.